two streams in a row. It's been a Memorial Day weekend extravaganza for the Outlaw Posse. Is We've been pretty busy. We've been having a lot of little nuggets percolate, and I was not going to do anything tonight until I started reading the news feed on Google Sports, and I come across a few things that were pretty interesting. Number one, seems like con time Deion Sanders, who I grilled a little bit yesterday, seems like he's been caught up in some covering up for criminal actions by his son, Shiloh Sanders. We'll get into that a little bit. Oh, Deion, man. I don't see how people couldn't see it from the get-go. I try to tell them, man, they tried to say I was a hater. It's like, no, man, you can read the guy. You can tell he's one of those TV evangelist types, Sunday morning preacher, Sunday night drunk kind of deals. That's what Deion Sanders is. We're also going to look at some interesting comments by Florida State. Once again, Florida State comes across as big-ass crybaby, just like they did when they got left out of the playoffs and cried and bitched and moaned. And there was other people out there that supported Florida State because of their hate for Alabama, among other things. But we all going to be honest here, and I'm not saying this because I'm an Alabama guy. They got left out because they weren't one of the four best teams at the end of the year. And yes, it was partly because of their quarterback, but then their second-string quarterback got injured as well. And you have to put the best four teams in at that time of the year. And that's what happened. We can debate that all day long. Everybody's got their own side they take on that, but they raised a big stink about it and cried about it and shit. And then they shit the bed against Georgia, 63-3. Oh, the other players showed up. Well, some of Georgia's didn't show up either. The thing is, I mean, who's to say those players would have showed up for the national playoffs? You know, then it would have really been bad. But that's neither here nor there. See who we got up in here so far. We got Fred Bagley in the house. He's got his badge. He's deputized. We got Trucking with John. Trucking with John says they're just salty because we beat their ass in the national championship in 2000. Well, this is about your softball team, John. This ain't about football. This is all about softball. But first, we're going to get to the one they call Con Time Deion Sanders. Seems like Con Time may be in some trouble. And Colorado won't do it because they're a liberally spastic state, but they should. It says right here, let's bring this up. This is the lead on it right here. As you can see, it says Shiloh Sanders had been to juvenile center multiple times, and Deion Sanders is under fire for sneaking out of Shiloh's $11.8 million lawsuit due to his son's violent behavior towards a security guard at, I guess it was the high school he was attending. So I'm going to bring up the clips here for y'all as well. Let's go ahead and do that. Stop screen on that, present. Says right here that according to Darjean, who was the security guard, Deion Sanders was well aware of Shiloh's troubled history, which is why he instructed him to take Shiloh's phone during class. I knew nothing about Shiloh Sanders. Probably saw him on TV a couple of times and stuff like that. Well, he took the kid's phone like Deion suggested he do. He said that Shiloh was all talk, and then Shiloh, of course, assaulted the officer in question. In fact, as Darjean remembered, before meeting Shiloh, there was a moment when he hesitated to follow Coach Prime's orders because he did not know what type of person Shiloh was. Shiloh was all talk, according to Deion. It won't hurt him. Deion Sanders allegedly went and took the CCTV footage down from the school to protect Shiloh against $11.8 million lawsuit. So he went and tampered with the video. And it goes on to say here that there was 1, 2, 3, and 4 different video cameras that we don't have access to because Deion got rid of those. He got rid of those, and now we don't have them for court, said Darzine. Darzine suggested that Deion drove by his personal motives and by a desire to protect his personal brand and image rather than addressing his son's behavior. And he went on to say that he did not believe Deion really even cared about Shiloh's how it affected Shiloh. He was just worried about how it made him look, which is what we talked about before in one of the previous podcasts with Jonathan Lewis. It's not only is Deion selfish towards others, but he really don't give a shit about his sons either because he's all worried about him and how it's going to make him look. And people might say, well, he obviously cared. He went and tried to cover up for his son. But if they're saying that he only done that so it wouldn't look bad on his brand, which is why he's a piece of shit and why he's always been a piece of shit ever since he poured that damn water on Tim McCarver just because Tim McCarver questioned whether he should be playing 2 sports and concentrating on one. Tim McCarver simply had an opinion, and Deion bullied him in the dressing room and poured shit on him because he knew he wasn't going to hit him. He knew he wasn't going to hit him. If it had been another player or somebody that questioned Deion, say a big guy like, I don't know, back in the day, Derek Thomas or Cornelius Bennett or somebody like that, you think he would have poured that damn water on them? I don't think so. I don't think so. Deion is a thug that's raised thugs. This is an understatement. But that is, in fact, a fact, I do believe. Ballard Sports Media is in the house. Says, what's up? Ain't seen you in a while, Ballard. It's good to have you in here, brother. Just talking about Deion Sanders. Basically, it went to the school where his son was at, where his son attacked a security officer and basically, I don't know if he called it stealing. I'd call it stealing. Basically took the camera footage from 4 different cameras to cover up his son attacking him. And Deion's even went into a deposition on record as saying as such that he did indeed do this. Now, how is this not a crime by him? I mean, shouldn't that be tampering with a criminal court case? Don't Colorado think maybe they should look at that as a huge PR hit? Just saying. And people thought, well, you just got an axe ground with Deion, you always have. No, I've just been calling him what he is from the get-go, and people got pissed off at me. You know, just like with old Stinky Linky and Linky Boy, old Skittle Shitter, TBOW, the bitch out west, Lincoln Riley. You know, people were bitching at me about that when I first got on that damn soapbox, bitching at him. Deion always puts Deion first, says Fred Bagley. This is true. T-Boomers in the house. FSU just can't win when it comes to the Sooners. Doesn't seem that way. Actually, that series between them is 12-8 from what I understand. Now, we'll get to that too as well. I'll bring that up for you people and hear the Oklahoma segment that has come in to see. FSU, once again, crying and bitching, wetting their little diapers down there in the teepees, down there with the squaws in Tallahassee with all the other fake-ass Indians, down there crying and whining about the softball teams. They basically accused Oklahoma's players of either 1, being on steroids, or 2, actually being transgenders and dudes. They said this shit. I got it right here, and I'll show it to you. Let's bring it up for y'all. There it is. From Heartland Sports. It says Oklahoma and Florida State have become regular postseason opponents over the last few years, and typically it's been deep into the NCAA tournament. The Sooners and the Seminoles have played 20 times, with OU leading the all-time series 12-8. Sounds pretty close, right? Not really. Recent history has been all about Oklahoma. Here it comes. They won the last 6 matchups, and last night they rule run their asses, which is an embarrassment to get rule run at the highest platform of women's softball, and that is the softball playoffs. You shouldn't be getting rule run unless you're, I don't know, unless you're freaking Alcorn State or some shit. A rule run of 11-3. Florida State's softball program doesn't take a back seat to many, so this lopsided series clearly has their fans feeling like there's got to be more than that team just simply being better than them. And here's the message boards that was brought up by a message board genius here. One guy says, "Our girls are girls." This is jbob72 from warchant.com. This is a Florida State website. jbob72 says, "Our girls are girls. Theirs are what?" And just pauses, as in to indicate that they are playing with transgenders. Our girls are theirs. That's what he says. Says, "Watching these girls bat," this is from PC alum, "watching these girls bat, I find it hard to believe they aren't jacked up on steroids. I can't believe that they were legitimately tested after last year's championship and passed." Jag 2001 says, "Don't want to sound like a bad guy, but are we sure that all these Oklahoma gals are really gals? I mean, look at the size of them. Some of these gals could play football." And then in response to jbob72, Penzanola says, "Last year I legit felt Oklahoma girls were actually dudes." That's some pretty crappy shit to say, right? Let's pull on down here and see what else they say here. Message board genius found more than a couple examples. I already read that. Basically calling them dudes and saying they're juiced up on steroids. It couldn't possibly be that Patty Gasso, who has now won over 1,500 games at OU, has built a sustainable program that has been winning at the highest level for years now. It couldn't be that, right? You can't blame them for wondering. It says, though, after Oklahoma blasted 4 home runs in an 11-hit game that also lacked a single Sooner batter who was never struck out. FSU season's on the line now. One more loss will end their season, and I guess that happened today. And from what I understand, didn't Oklahoma go ahead and knock Florida State out today? Y'all tell me in the comments. But yeah, once again, Florida State is showing exactly who we thought they were. It's just like old legend Dennis Green once said, "They are who we thought they were, and they're a bunch of wet diaper, fake Indian asses in the teepees of Tallahassee." If I'm the Big Ten and I'm the SEC and I see this shit, I don't know if I want these guys in my conference. I'm just saying. One of them will end up probably taking them, but if it's me, do you really want that kind of bitching and whining and cancerous, losery ass, bad winning attitude, man? They can't take a loss. They can't be told no in Florida State. These are the same guys that put up with Rapist Winston. That's why they call him Rapist Winston. Jameis Winston. Rapist Winston, put up with him jumping up on the cafeteria tables and hollering, "Grab her by the pee," in front of a bunch of women. And then him and a bunch of guys gang raped a girl. They videoed it, and then they destroyed 4 or 5 phones. And there wasn't wrong with that. That girl she was a gold digger. She wasn't no gold digger. Just because these women try to hit these athletes where it hurts and that's their pocketbook doesn't necessarily mean they're gold diggers. It means that that's their way of getting back at them for traumatizing them. A lot of these women don't want to have to go through trial and be victimized again. So that's why, lots of times women like that end up settling, because they're going to get drugged through the mud again. They're going to be the victim a second time. John Ritchie says a couple of days ago, but yeah, they did. Yeah, exactly. But I just thought, I didn't see it until today. I'm like, Holy shit. That's something we need to address, especially the way Florida State acted when they got left out of the playoff. Everybody's like, well, that was sort of legit. No, it wouldn't. Because they looked horrid against subpar competition in their last 2 or 3 games. They didn't play themselves into the playoffs the last 3 games. It's the whole body of work. It ain't just what you done early in the season. It's what you do late in the season as well. And yes, they lost their quarterback, but they also lost their second-string quarterback. What do you think would happen if Florida State played Michigan or Texas or Alabama or any of them teams? Hell, even Oregon and other teams with 2 losses like Penn State. Hell, I'd even go venture to say Tennessee maybe. And there was probably about 15 or 16 teams at the end of the year that were better than Florida State, even if they were 13 though. Jeff Payton's in the house. He says, hello, everyone. What's going on, Jeff? T. Boomer's in the house. He has his badge. He's been deputized as well. They try and say the same thing about Bama when they was winning year after year. It just comes when you build a dynasty. That is true. With success, it's going to breed some hatred. It's going to breed some pretty ugly stuff. I know from experience being an Alabama fan. By the way, Alabama, speaking softball, our team did advance too. We upset Tennessee. It was number 3. Went on the road and beat them 2 out of 3. Beat them in 14 innings Saturday, and last night beat them 4-1. I think we had jumped on them early. I think we had like a grand slam off of 2 outs. They had us with 2 outs, I think, in the first or second inning. And with 2 outs, we loaded the bases, and then the girl hit a grand slam. So Tennessee done it to themselves. This is the 15th time Alabama's been in the College World Series. We won it, the national championship, once. Jeff can probably tell me when. I think it was in 2012 or 2013. When did Alabama win the softball national championship, Jeff? Florida State, if you know, Fred says you notice it's not the FSU coaches or players, just crybabies. Yeah, exactly. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they were saying the shit too, because their players were this past year. Jeff Payton says Florida State would have gotten clobbered in the playoffs. Exactly. And they got clobbered not in the playoffs. 63-3. I know. A bunch of their players left. Well, some of Georgia's players left too. It's not Georgia's fault or Alabama's fault or Texas's fault or Michigan's fault or Washington's fault that your players are a bunch of damn quitters. Just like your softball players. Y'all rolled over and got your ass handed to you 11-3. Y'all couldn't even finish a whole game against Oklahoma. And y'all going to come in here and cry and whine and bitch about it? Hell. 2012 versus Oklahoma. So last time Alabama won a national championship, it was against Oklahoma. Well, damn. Maybe we'll see y'all again. Maybe Alabama can stop y'all's little 3-game or 3-year dynasty that y'all got going on. Because as I said in the earlier podcast yesterday, winning 4 in a row, everybody gets hung up on these 3-peats. But 4 in a row is really a gauge of greatness, because 4 in a row puts you in such rarefied air, even amongst all sports. Transcends all sports as far as a dynasty in all sports. The Yankees have done it a few times in baseball, won 4 or 5 in a row. John Wooden, shit like that. You getting some rarefied air, man. You really, really up there. Red Auerbach for the Boston Celtics. Rare thing to win 4 in a row. So Oklahoma is going for something pretty epic as far as softball goes. Those that are just joining us, if you don't mind, jump out of the chat, smash that like button, then jump back in here. It helps push the algorithm. Also, if you want me to read your comment out, there's a little $1 sign at the bottom. You can click on that, write your comment out. Then click on it again after you write your comment out, send it, push it to the top, and I'll read it out over the others. Don't forget we should have beat FSU in the bowl game. Yeah. But like I said, those of you that are just joining us, we've been talking about Deion Sanders basically covering up a crime by his son. His son beat the shit out of a security guard who Deion told to take the phone from his son. And then his son proceeded to beat the hell out of him. And Deion Sanders went in there and basically took all the footage. Went in there and just took all the footage in the school. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, yeah, he's Deion Sanders. So that's how he done it, right? And that shit needs to come to a screeching ass halt. Colorado better get their shit together because he's fixing to, I know it was bad when he got there. They were 1-10. But he's going to do irreparable harm to Colorado. And they're not going to recover for 10 or 15 years if they keep letting this shit go. It just galls me that he would go in there and take camera footage from 4 different cameras. 4. But what was really epic, like I said earlier, the guy Darjean, the security officer, said that he didn't think that Deion done this out of love for his son. He done it because Deion Sanders was worried about how it would make his brand look. His brand. Deion Sanders got a brand now. Well, that mug thinks he's Gucci or Louis Vuitton or some shit. Yeah, hit that subscribe button if y'all don't mind too. If you're new in here, it's free. Now, if you want to get your badge like Fred Bagley and Jeff Payton and Denizen and others in here, it's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. It's a little join button next to the subscribe button. You get your badge, you get deputized, you get a random 4 horseman shout out on the actual podcast, as well as possibly be the comment of the day and maybe some perks to come later. I'm thinking about doing something with the shop that I got, maybe giving away some t-shirts as well. Here's another thing I want to bring up for y'all. See if y'all can see that. All right. This is from 247 Sports. College football surprise teams in 2024. Biggest sleepers in the SEC, Big Ten, ACC, and Big 12, according to Josh Pate, I think. Or is it Grant Hughes? This might be an article by Grant Hughes, collaborating with Josh Pate. Georgia, Ohio State, Florida State, and Kansas State are projected to win their respective conferences next season. However, several under-the-radar teams are capable of knocking them off their pedestal heading into the 2024 season. Earlier this month, Late Kicks host Josh Pate disclosed his biggest sleeper teams in each conference that could win the conference. Not a national championship, just the conference. Here we go. In the Big 12, Josh Pate says that the Arizona Wildcats could be that team this year that could surprise everybody in the Big 12. Certainly not going to be con time. He's too busy going out and doing espionage at the high school and stealing tapes because that's what con men do. They do criminal shit. ACC, sleeper Louisville. The Louisville Cardinals hit the 10-win mark last year and made the ACC championship game appearance. Ended up losing to Florida State in Jeff Brom's first season at the helm. The Cardinals aren't sneaking up on anyone thanks to the number 6 transfer portal class in the nation. So they're saying that Louisville may get over that Florida State Clemson hump. We shall see. In the Big Ten, Penn State Nittany Lions, that's a gimme right there. I mean, everybody knows Penn State has always been the 3rd best team in that conference for quite some time now. They can't get over the Michigan and Ohio State hump, sort of like the rest of the ACC when it comes to Florida State and Clemson. But they're saying Penn State may, in fact, be your sleeper to win the Big Ten, although this guy was also caught up in some mess. I did a podcast or live stream about that earlier this week with James Franklin, basically going in and fixing medical records to try to get a kid dismissed from the team that was dealing with suicidal tendencies because he's a piece of shit too, just like Deion. SEC, the Tennessee Volunteers are the sleeper, according to Josh Pate, to possibly win the SEC. It's always nice to have two of the top players in the SEC start on each side of the football team, it says. That's the situation Josh Heupel has with the Vols, assuming Nico Amaliva is the real deal at quarterback and James Pierce has another disruptive season on defense. So that's the surprise teams in conference, according to Josh Pate. What do y'all think about that? Jeff Payton says Deion stealing tapes to protect his brand is like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still going to be ugly. That's true. That's true. That's damn true. I can't believe he done that shit. I mean, with today's times, man, it just seems like all these older guys my age, some of them they don't realize that, it's hard to get away with shit like that. You might have got away with it back in the 80s and the 90s, but social media and technology and all that, you're not going to get away with certain things anymore. Just like in political circles. The curtain's been pulled back just like at the Wizard of Oz. John Ritchie says Florida State really thinks they can theorize being a championship program. Yeah, you can't theorize it. You got to materialize it. You got to do it on the field. And unfortunately, they haven't been doing that. They look like shit at the end of the year in football and become the first 13-0 team to get kept out. So congratulations on that fine achievement. Florida State and the fake Indians down there with the TPs. Congratulations. And now I can't believe they were actually trying to say that some of Oklahoma's players were transgenders. I don't get it. Billy Buse in the house. Billy Buse says Deion is an FSU product. Funny, all these crybabies in the headlines intertwine. Damn, that's a damn good point, Billy. Damn good point. You got Deion over there doing all sorts of crazy shit in the bed left and right. And then you got Florida State doing the same thing, losing their bowels over everything. They can't even win at softball now. Now they're going to cry about that shit too. So, if Bama makes it to play OU, I promise the Bama fans will say that about OU. The Sooners are softball's best. I didn't say it. I didn't say that y'all were playing transgenders. I didn't say that y'all were cheating and y'all were doing steroids. That's what Florida State said. Not Alabama people. But, I mean, I guess y'all could test yourselves. There's one way to debunk all that shit. Just go take a test and then, I guess, pull your little panties down and show them that you don't have a jack in the box. Because that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that your players are so big and stocky. And I was under the impression y'all had some good-looking chicks. That's what Killer Breeze told me. But from what they're saying, you got a bunch of chicks that look like men, and they think they got a jack in the box. Fred Bagley says he thinks Tennessee is still a young quarterback, and they're not there on defense yet. I agree with that. I think it's a little reaching. I would actually go with Missouri. I know y'all don't want to hear that shit, but a team that they may not expect to win it would probably be Missouri that could actually win it. Not quite drunk enough, Jesse. Well, man, look, hit me up on whatever platform you hit me up on, whether it be Twitter, whether it be on Facebook under Jesse Paul Clark. That's spelled Jesse without the I. Hit me up, give me your phone number, and I'll give you a call sometime. We can talk and we can set it up and make sure that you're good in where you need to be. We'll have you on here. Jeff Payton says I really don't think Alabama will go far in the WCWS because they open with UCLA. Could be right. I'm just glad we're there. I mean, I didn't expect us to make it there, to be honest with you, Jeff. Now, most Sooners fans respect Alabama. Okay, appreciate that. Me either. I didn't think we would beat Tennessee either. You didn't think y'all would beat Tennessee. Oh, you're an Alabama fan? You're an Alabama fan, Paddlebar? Because y'all didn't play Tennessee, did you? Did y'all play Tennessee? Y'all didn't play Tennessee this year. Are you saying that y'all were afraid that y'all couldn't beat Tennessee if they made it? Well, we did y'all a favor then. We got rid of the team that y'all are the most worried about. Is that what you're trying to say? Bill Clevenger. Bill Clevenger says, I love the fake Indians whining. Boomer every day. That's what they're doing. They're whining. Let me pull those comments back up again for y'all. If I can find them. Share screen. There it is again. I'm going to scroll down here. Y'all may not be able to see this, but once again, right here on warchant.com, numerous people from the Florida State nation were one of them saying, our girls are girls. Are their girls girls? And then another one said last year they felt legit that Oklahoma's girls were dudes. Watching these girls bad, I find it hard to believe they aren't all jacked up on steroids. So for those of y'all that joined me late, that's exactly what everybody's so fired up about. Also, we got a lot of big games. I think these are in the first week of the season. I was going to get y'all's thoughts on that before I got out of here. We have Notre Dame at Texas A&M, Georgia versus Clemson, a neutral site in Atlanta, and Texas at Michigan. Those are the big three to start the year off. I think these are in the first week. Texas and Michigan might be second week. I can't remember. But Notre Dame and A&M. That's a hard game to call, actually. I know a lot of people don't like A&M in this forum, but it's in College Station. I'm not really sold on Notre Dame yet, so it would not surprise me if Texas A&M were to upset Notre Dame in this game. I think Texas A&M could possibly beat Notre Dame. Georgia versus Clemson, that's a pretty hard game too. Everybody's probably going to take Georgia because Clemson, it seems like, has slipped a little bit in the last few years. But once again, do not be surprised. This Atlanta game's been known for producing a lot of upsets. So don't be surprised if Clemson springs an upset on the hedge pissers, that being Georgia, in the very first week of the season. In Texas at Michigan. Michigan's lost a lot. It's at Michigan, so it might be their saving grace. But I don't think it will be. Because they've lost so much, not only players, but they've lost their head coach, they've lost their coordinators. I don't think this will be a good opening game for Sharon. Hopefully he don't start crying and acting like a spastic like he did on the sidelines when he was the interim coach. I know he's an Oklahoma guy, but come on, y'all got to admit that was a little cringy. So I think Texas will probably win that game. What do y'all think about those three big games? Billy Bew says, when I think of FSU, I think of crab legs and being the only team in the CV. Yeah, I forgot about him stealing the crab legs from Publix. Not only did he rape a girl, not only did he jump up on the cafeteria and scream, grab her by the pee, but he stole crab legs too. You would think with the kind of money that they slipping him that he wouldn't have to steal because you know Florida State was slipping him some money. Jeff Payton thinks it'll be Notre Dame, Michigan, and Georgia. Well, don't go out on a limb, Jeff. Take all the favorites, man. Come on, give me an upset, man. Give me one upset out of those three. Only team in history that went undefeated and still sucked. That's what I meant. Yeah, that's true. They were probably the worst 13-0 regular season team of all time. It was proven by the fact that Georgia beat them 63-3. I don't care how many players sit out. There is no excuse for getting beat by 60 points and you being an upper echelon former national championship program. There's no excuse for getting beat by 60 unless you're in a down year, which they weren't. They were 13-0, and they were playing in the Orange Bowl, which last I checked is still a pretty important bowl game. And they got beat by 60. It's now the worst bowl ass whipping in the history of college football. So congratulations on that too. Yeah, y'all can go back to the TPs and cry some more now. So if you're going to take an upset, it would be A&M over Notre Dame. All right, I like that. Notre Dame, Michigan, Georgia win. Michigan versus Texas is week 2. That's what I thought. I don't know why they were portraying it as an early season bouts. I mean, they were acting like it was in the first week, but I thought it was week 2. I thought it was, but thank you for backing me up on that. Jesse, this is very fun. What's so fun? What's so fun, man? What you got going on? Tell you who don't think it's fun. Deion Sanders. Ocon time and his son Shiloh and shit. Sakazulu Sanders ain't gonna think it's fun when his ass gets sacked about 50, 55 times next year and don't make it to the NFL because his daddy got him hurt. Because all Deion's worried about is his brand. Don't get Travis Hunter hurt again, too, by the way. Tequila. I ain't got none of that tonight. I do have a Celsius, though. It's going to be my sponsor one day. It's a pretty good flavor, by the way. It's the kiwi guava. I like the strawberry guava better, but it'll do. Yeah, I know why you don't want to root for Notre Dame or anything. Notre Dame, in case y'all don't know, if y'all not an Oklahoma fan, Oklahoma don't like Notre Dame because they were one of the few teams that beat them during the Bud Wilkinson era. Oklahoma started their famous 47-game win streak after they lost to Notre Dame. Then they played Notre Dame in Norman a few years later, and Notre Dame ended the streak. So that, and they also claimed that Notre Dame stole their play like champion sign that Notre Dame hits when they come out to the football field. Oklahoma claims that Notre Dame stole that from them. Yep, I just said that. So Thunder OU Sooners backing me up on that. So what do y'all think? Y'all think Deion Sanders covering up his son's crimes, his son beating down that security guard? You think there's going to be anything come out of this? I mean, the dude's already filed for bankruptcy. How young? It's got to be a record for someone that young filing bankruptcy. Was it him that filed bankruptcy or Sakazulu? Or Shadir, my bad. One on the file bankruptcy. So, what do y'all think will happen? Anything will happen? I don't know. I mean, with today's society, it seems like rich people are protected from everything. But I think his ass should probably be fired. I mean, this is a bad look for Colorado. And finally, before I get out of here, what do you think about one more little parting of maybe give me a summation of what y'all really feel about the Florida State fake Indians basically wetting their diapers again and saying that Oklahoma is cheating in softball, that y'all are jacked up on steroids, or either that or you got your women have a jack in the box. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think about those two things that we discussed tonight. Grill the hell out of them. And if anybody got any more questions before I get out of here, let's see what you got here. I Am Sooner says, hey, Outlaw, 2 nights past the Twister, still here in Oklahoma. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of Twisters out there. I hate that for y'all. And A lot of people got killed in Arkansas and Kentucky and Iowa. They're all over. They're not hitting the South this year for some reason. Thank goodness for us. But it seems like this has been more of an outbreak than I remember in a long, long time. So I'm glad to see that everybody's still all right. Those of you that come in here and hang out with me, that's a lot of reason why a lot of these streams ain't been able to do good, because everybody's worried about life things that really matter. They ain't got time to worry about my little piddly ass. I'm glad that everybody's all right on your end. I am sooner. Fred Bagley said Notre Dame stopped a 20-something win streak and then stopped our 47-game win streak. Damn, I know that. That'd probably make me not like them either. You know, Alabama didn't like them for a long time because we couldn't ever beat them. We was like 0-3 against them or something, or 0-4. And then we finally beat them here in Birmingham with I think it's Cornelius Bennett lit Steve Berline's ass up in an epic photo. It's a painting at the Bryant Museum. A lot of people have it. It's a very valuable painting. But we've hated Notre Dame for quite some time too. But we've sort of rectified that. We beat the shit out of them the last 2 times we played, and now it's 3-5. So we're about to catch their ass. Yep, it was 1986, Jeff. You're right. Exactly. Prayers for the tornado victims out there. I wished I knew how to help them out. I try to help them out. Fred Bagley said he dodged a few tornadoes himself. Right, I just wanted to jump in here and let y'all know that the Florida State fake Indians were accusing y'all of cheating, and I wanted to let everybody know about Con Time being the con man that he is, because I'm not going to miss an opportunity to call him out in what he really is. He is who we thought he was. Just like Dennis Green said, just like I said at the beginning, he's a big old con man. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. KMCA, all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.